Hello, friends. So today is the big 50. Turned 50. Still feel 29, so I don't know. I think it's just a number, but I think I thought that before. So I had an amazing day. It started off rainy, and I wanted to go hiking this morning. Um, Walking is a whole new experience now that I'm learning to walk again and learning to take my time. But it was raining, so I couldn't go. But then we had what I wanted to do on my birthday was go on a train ride um, to it in Jim Thorpe, which is a town near here, which used to be called Mock Chunk. Probably still should be called Mock Chunk, but it's named after some Olympian who is from Jim Thorpe. So the Scenic Gorge Railway has this train that goes and comes back, and it's gorgeous. And of course, this time of year is gorgeous. So there was a little bit of a fear that we wouldn't be able to see anything because it was so foggy and everything. But I figured we'd go anyway and it would work itself out. It did. We went for lunch first, and then we went on the train ride, and it wasn't raining, and it was amazing. There were still leaves on the trees, and there were some trees that had dropped all their leaves. There were lots of leaves on the ground. And for somebody who loves autumn as much as I do, it really was, a cornucopia of beautiful sights, and I really did enjoy it. So it was super, super fun. And then I came home, and um, my son brought me a cookie. My other son had purchased me a gift earlier that he wants me to take backpacking with me to protect myself, something that would fit in my hip belt. That's very unique to him if you know who he is and what he's into. And then today I started my gratitude journal, which this was a gift from Karen at Northampton, and I had been saving it to write on my birthday so that every day that I'm writing down things that I'm grateful for. So even if I have a bad day, I want to make sure that I'm grateful. Yesterday I sort of did a reflection. As I told you, I did a reflection on, sort of the lessons I've learned up to this point in my life. Far too numerous to go over here, and actually far too numerous to write down. I feel like I need to take more time because I didn't want to just be jotting notes down. I wanted to really explore sort of the lessons that I'm learning in this lifetime and in this physical iteration. So I think to summarize sort of what I've learned so far, which I can't summarize everything, but some things that I sort of drilled down into yesterday was just a spirit of gratitude and a spirit of gratitude for the lessons that I'm meant to learn in this lifetime. And I think the number one thing that I've learned in this lifetime so far, or a place that I can see that I've grown in my life. My hair is so big today. The rain does this. If you're a curly-haired person, you understand my pain. Um, when I was younger, as a child and then as a teenager and as a young adult, um, I was always up in a tizzy about stuff. Always in a tizzy. Always super passionate. I've always been passionate, and I'm still very passionate. But it's the difference between a bonfire and a nice campfire, right? Sometimes my passion would go out of control. Not in any bad way, of course, but just, I would be everybody had to know my opinion, and I had to be the person who was right. And I have noticed, and I had noticed this before, that over the course of my life, I've actually let a lot of that go. I don't need to be right. If you need to be right, you go ahead and be right. I'm cool because I know what I believe, and it's cool, and it's and I've just in reflection I've learned that that's something that has definitely changed over the course of my life. And another thing that has really changed is sort of this feeling that I was never ever satisfied, right? Like I always had to do better, and I had to create more or do more or be more, because I was never quite satisfied with things. And so I've learned over the course of my life, another sort of theme is that I'm much more focused on being satisfied with the things that I have and not always wanting that other thing. I've never been materialistic. I've never had to have the nicest car. I refuse to pay car payments. I had one car payment when I was young, I had a sports car and it got wrapped around a pole. And at the time, Pennsylvania didn't have gap insurance, so I ended up having to pay on top of what it was totaled for. I ended up having to pay like $2,000 extra dollars. That irritated me so much that my insurance did not cover the cost of the car, that I vowed at that point that I would never, ever, ever finance a car again, and I never have. And when my boys were young, we had a brand new minivan because we needed it. But I kind of enjoy finding older cars now. I'm a Jeep person. Not to say that if a Rubicon didn't show up at my house with keys in it, that I wouldn't drive it. But I refuse to pay a car payment, so I'd have to hit the lottery to get it. So I've never been a stuffs person. People's stuff does not impress me, because you can have all the nice stuff and have a mean heart. And then what does it matter what kind of stuff you have? So I've never been about stuff. I'm much more interested in a person's intellect and the quality of their heart. And so those are the things that I was reflecting on. And then just thinking about the love that I have in my life. I have so much love. And today, people are posting on Facebook, and I'm trying to respond to each person who has said happy birthday. And we're at 400. So it's going slow, but I really feel it's important to thank each person individually, because they took the time out to say happy birthday individually to me. So I'm taking my time to do that while doing other things. I made dinner. Dave had to work, so I made dinner for me and the boys, and listening to music and writing my journals and sort of doing the things that I want to do. But just being grateful. I went out and I sat in the yard, and I had asked Spirit for signs from my parents, and I'm not very good at seeing signs. I have to say, like, that's not something I'm good at yet. I'm going to work on it. I'm grateful when I do see them, and I'm learning better to see them. But I'm pretty clueless a lot of times. Like, if you would ask me, like, what's my kid wearing right now, I couldn't tell you. I saw him a million times, but I don't really pay attention to fine details. I'm a broader strokes person, so I'm trying to be better at that. But I was, looking for a sign, and, just, wanting my parents to be with me today. And I had seen the number 333, like, 2 times today. And I'm not a numerology person. I don't really understand a lot about numerology, but I have been seeing like 111 and 123 and things like that a lot, lately, maybe because I'm more tuned into it. But today it was all about 333. And that actually made a lot of sense. And then I realized, because, the clue phone rang and I finally picked it up, that that was my parents saying hello. That makes more sense to me and to a few people that watch this than it will to most people. But 333, or the Trinity, that created me. Because when you think about it, when you think about like your birthday, and you think about you coming into the world, you are the product of couplings for centuries. There are people that I don't know who created me, like people thousands of years ago that I am the result of. And that blows my mind. Like when you really think about that blows your mind. And the 2 people that created me and the 2 people who raised me, they created who I am today, in part with, all of spirit and things like that. But it's pretty incredible. DNA is just part of the story. Where you get your DNA from, that's part of the story. And if you're adopted or raised by somebody that doesn't hold your DNA card, so to speak, it doesn't. Your nature and nurture, right? You get some things from DNA, you get some things from how you're raised. So I was just eternally grateful that I got to see the 3s, and made sense to me. And I was grateful to Spirit for showing me a sign, but also that I actually picked up on the sign, because I'm not always so good at that. So this has been an amazing day. I am going to go off, and I've written in my gratitude journal, but now I'm going to go and write in my other journal. I'm going to pull some runes for the next year of things I should focus on in my 50th year. And I know from writing intentions last night that, like, my number one intention really has been and remains to spread light and love. Really, that is our goal, is to help others tap into light and love. And I feel like if we have more of that, there'll be less of the horrible stuff, right? We all see the source and the light and love that we're meant to share, then there isn't room for the darkness because the light will be so bright. So that's where I am on my 50th birthday. I am going to decorate pumpkin cookies with my kid, and then I will get to my journals again. So wishing all of you all the best in light and love. For those of you who reached out, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And it might be till next year till I thank everybody. But I will thank everybody who reached out today. Thank you so much. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.